Hey everybody, this is Natalie with Champion of Coins Tarot. I hope that you all are doing really well. I wanted to come on to film the second part of Candy Soul and Soil's Anatomy of a Tarot deck tag that she's created. The last one was about unused decks in our collection. This one is about decks that we always use and why we always use them. Whereas in the previous video, I had a multitude of reasons why some decks have gone unused. These are just like my core all-time favorites. These are the ones that have either been in my collection for a very long time, or they're ones that over the years have just really come to have a special place and that I find myself using more frequently than anything else that I have. If you've been following me for a while, some of these are going to be kind of like no surprise. Like they're ones that I talk about all the time and that I have a lot of love and affection for. I do have two that are kind of honorable mentions where I've only had them for a very short amount of time, but I am drawing and actively using them daily. And I'll explain kind of why that is and why I enjoy using them for daily work. Oh, and I'm going to try not to bump the tripod as much as possible during this process. So the very first deck that I always use is the Golden Tarot by Liz Dean. This is the first tarot deck that I ever got, and it is still one of my absolute favorites. This deck and I can't really get it to focus, can I? This deck and I have just gone through so much together. I got it back in 2014, and so much in my life has changed since then, but just my love and affection for this deck has always stayed the same. It is beautiful, it is gentle, it's just such a nurturing and supportive energy. I really love it, and it's something that I can read with for just about anything, from the most profound, weighty questions that I have in my life to the mundane and just getting messages as like an affirmation for the day. Really love this. I edged it. The cardstock is definitely chipping. This is one of the most beat up decks that I have, but I wouldn't want it any other way. It just reflects so many wonderful years of use. The next one that I'm always reaching for is the Tarot of the Magical Forest. This is a low Scarabeo deck. It is animal themed, and it is just absolutely perfect. So I reach for this deck whenever I want to read for other people, because I find that it is just such a wonderful, gentle presence, but it's also meaty enough to be able to go into shadow in a way that is not as confronting as the standard Rider-Waite-Smith imagery is. This deck, it just makes me happy whenever I use it, but it's also another one that I know that I can get really deep with this deck because that level of familiarity and that level of trust is there. So absolutely love. I would also give a shout out, like an honorable mention, just to the Rider-Waite-Smith itself, because I have that in several forms. Usually I will look at my card of the day on the Galaxy Tarot app for Android. So even though I'm not physically drawing cards with it, if I were to like want to do a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of reading, it would be with Tarot of the Magical Forest instead. But shout out to the classics as well. And then next is the Thelema Tarot, which I've just been singing the praises of so much this year. I have always loved this deck. It's always been something that's been so empowering and really enjoyed reading for myself with it. But this is the year that I don't know, we meshed. I use this almost every single day. Not so much recently, but almost every single day this year. And it's amazing. There's just something about it. I think also because it's one of the oldest decks that I have in my collection, where there's just so many fond memories, and it feels very talkative. It feels very expansive. Just so great. So great. I can't even articulate with that one. Next is the Aquarian Tarot. And this is a deck that I love so much that I gave the original copy to my sister when she started learning how to read tarot, and then I had to get another copy for myself. The Aquarian Tarot is just so vibrant. It's also a very clear reader. It's great for other people. And it's just a great vibe. This is very sunny, very summery to me. It's a great deck to carry around in my bag. It's definitely traveled with me to a lot of places. And this is another one where I will definitely reach for it on a day-to-day basis. Just love it, love it, love it. Now, next ones are ones that I don't necessarily use every day, but that they are constantly in rotation for me. One of those is the Voyager Tarot. This deck just is magic to me. I love it more than anything. This is kind of my ritual working deck. This is a spell working deck for me. I love the artwork so much. It's very trippy, and just gets me to a really kind of incredible liminal meditative space. I like the keywords. I like the way that the guidebook is written and kind of the spreads and method that's proposed for working with these cards kind of archetypally. Like, that's just so great. So this is like the go-to magic deck. I'm not going to really say any more about that. And then go-to shadow working deck for me is the Tarot of the Ages. This one is just really, really wise and deep and profound. And it gets to the heart of whatever kind of thought loops I get stuck into, if that makes sense. It's definitely really helpful for me for being able to identify the source of my anxiety and then work through it. I also enjoy that this is just kind of a historic deck. It came out in 1985 originally, and it was one of the first to be multicultural, to depict different global civilizations throughout history. Some of the artwork is kind of dated. It kind of has like this 80s He-Man vibe to it. But there's something about that that kind of also conveys a sense of wisdom to it. It's like talking to a really trusted aunt or uncle, or just somebody who has lived a little bit longer maybe and has a lot of really grounded and sage advice to give. So this for me is like the quintessential shadow work deck. And then a deck that's very similar to it, but one that's very uplifting, is Tarot Apokalypsis. So if we skip forward in time 30 years, this is like Tarot of Ages on steroids. This is, I want to say Eric Dunn and Kim Huggins, who also did Tarot Illuminati. And it's bold. It's beautiful. It depicts some of the same civilizations that Tarot of the Ages does, but it takes a mythological approach. Definitely the major arcana are all different gods and goddesses and figures from global mythology. This one is much more bright and affirming and encouraging. So if Tarot of the Ages is like, let's get to the heart of the matter, here's some advice, Tarot Illuminati is just the vote of confidence, like the push that you need to be able to go forward confidently and face whatever's happening in your life, to play an active story in your own mythology. So I've actually really loved that one. And this is another one that I just kind of fell in love with this year, that I had always enjoyed using, but then started working with daily. And it was just very, very transformative for me. So that's a look at all of my most used tarot. Now for the oracle. Soul's Journey Lesson cards. This is not going to come as a surprise to anybody. I love this deck so much. If I could only have one oracle, this would be it. My love and appreciation of it just continues to deepen over time. It's great on its own. It's great as a clarifier. It's just so balanced, so nuanced. Affirmations are kick-ass. It doesn't shy away from shadow. It's just really, really fantastic. And then the 2 honorable mention decks that I have are also oracles, and these are ones that are new to my collection. I got them this fall and have only been working with for a couple of months, but I've worked with them every single day together, and also with some other decks, but mostly together as a pair. And that is the Outgrow Yourself Tarot and Oracle. This is a Thoth-inspired deck. So it has all of the cards, but the suits are kind of taken away. So you just have the keyword from the Thoth Tarot instead of like the 3 of Wands or what have you. And then also every single card has an affirmation on it. And they are really just kick-ass, empowering. This is one that definitely helps me to kind of kick myself in the ass and to get over myself, and to confront my fears head on, and to be creative, to be fun, to be playful, to tap into that part of myself that I often don't nourish as much as I need to or really want to. So this has been so healing to work with. It's also helping me to get over what I talked about in my last video, which is just a lot of the hang-ups that I have regarding the Thoth Tarot and its place in my practice as a Jewish person. Having all of the Crowley Kabbalah stuff stripped out of the deck and just focusing on the pure keywords is really great, and helps me to actually deeply appreciate the energetic movement that kind of underlies the system. So it's really awesome. Loved using it. And then the other deck that I've been pairing it with is the Iris Oracle, which is also fantastic for shadow work and for healing the inner child, and for really focusing on creativity, like above all else, being able to recognize and to honor the unique gifts that you have to offer to the world. I also really love the guidebook in this. It's given me a lot of food for thought, a lot of great journaling. And this is one where I'll often do a spread with the Outgrow Yourself Tarot and Oracle, and then I will draw the same spread positions on top with this as like the advice or the root of what is like helping or what's hindering me to be able to access that energy from the tarot reading. So I love it. It's just so playful, and I'm excited to continue working with both of those. So that is a look at the decks that are most used and why. Honestly, the answer just comes down to, for most of these, that I love them, and I don't know. If there were like a common theme here, I think it would be just they make me happy. And that's why I use them. Definitely able to confront more of the shadow side of life as well, but these just always make me really smile, and like I'm more centered and connected with the best version of myself after I use them. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what decks you always use, if we have some overlap, if you have different decks that you really enjoy. Love to see your responses. It's just been so fun watching all of the videos and watching people break down their own deck collections this month. And so I'm very grateful to Candy, Soul, and Soil for kicking this off, and looking forward to having future conversations in the next video. So sending y'all lots of love. Take care. Bye.